Hello students, this is Rashni Vinay from Jesus and Navy Academy. This video is for class 7A and B. We have already completed 3 chapters in history and 1 chapter in civics. Your first term syllabus in history is chapter 1 to 4 and in civics chapter 1. So this chapter 4 will be your last chapter for first term exam. Hope you all listened and watched the videos carefully and learned the answers of those questions. So let's start the chapter 4. Before starting the chapter, I would like to suggest you to subscribe our videos and suggest other also to subscribe it. The topic of this chapter is the Delhi Sultanate. Part 1. In this chapter, we will learn about sources, the slave dynasty, life of Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, Nasiruddin Muhammad Ghiyasuddin Balban. So let's start the chapter. Dear students, we have already read about Muhammad Ghori in previous chapter 3. Hope you have learned, as we know that Muhammad Ghori's conquest led to the establishment of Turkish and Afghan rule in India. The Turks and Afghans ruled from Delhi for almost 300 years, from 1206 to 1526 CE. The state they established came to be known as the Delhi Sultanate. Why the state called Delhi Sultanate? Yes, it's because all of its kings were called themselves sultans. The Delhi Sultanate was ruled by 5 successive dynasties. They are as follow. Number 1, the slave dynasty. Number 2, the Khilji dynasty. Number 3, the Tughlaq dynasty. Number 4, the Sayyid dynasties. And number 5 is the Logis dynasties. In this chapter, you will learn only about the slave dynasty, and in next chapter you will learn more about these 4 dynasties. So now let's move to the next paragraph, that is sources. We come to know about this period mainly through the Tawarish. There are the historical records written in Persian language. Ziauddin Barani, Shaz-e-Siraj, Afif and Minhaj Siraj were some of the famous historians of that time. They provided detailed account of court proceeding. Ibn Battuta and Marco Polo were foreign travelers. Inscriptions, coins and monuments provide a lot of information about this period. Let's know about the slave dynasty. As you know that Qutbuddin Aibak was a slave in Turk army who became a trusted general of Muhammad Ghori. When Muhammad Ghori died in 1206 CE, he had no sons to sit on the throne. So Qutbuddin Aibak inherited the empire. They divided the conquered territories of Ghori among themselves. Qutbuddin Aibak was made in charge of the territory of India he established the slave or Mamluk dynasty. Mamluk is an Arabic word which means owned slave. The, sul- the, sul- the Sultan who followed Ayubids were slaves too, and this is the reason that this dynasty was called the slave dynasty. Now let's come to know more about Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutbuddin Aibak ruled 1206 CE to 1210 CE. He was an efficient ruler. He suppressed internal rebellions and foreign attacks. He captured Delhi and made the famous Qila Rai Pithora, that is a beautiful fort, his home. He died before making his victories permanent. He built the Kuwait ul Islam Mosque in Delhi and began the construction of the famous Qutub Minar. He died when he fell from the horse while playing polo in 1210 CE. So this was the life about Qutbuddin Aibak. Now let's move to Iltutmish. Iltutmish succeeded Qutbuddin Aibak. He was a slave of Qutbuddin Aibak. He was an able ruler. He assumed the title of Shamuddin. He faced many problems, but dealt with them with heavy hand. He crushed rebels, protected and strengthened the boundary, and established a strong and consolidated sultanate. He stood as an iron man, and successfully he put difficulties to an end. He is called the actual founder of the Delhi Sultanate. He took the following steps to strengthen his position as a rightful heir to the throne. They are as follow. Number 1, he created a selected group of 40 nobles, that is called Turkan Jahelgani. Number 2, he introduced the Iktari system. The territories of the sultans were divided in small areas called Iktas. Nobles were in charge of Iktas. Number 3, he defeated Yaldos and Quabacha and pushed them out of Punjab. Number 4, he defeated Rajput rulers. He annexed Bihar and Bengal into the sultanates. Number 5, he saved India from the threat of Mongol attacks. He refused to give shelters to those Shah of Persia. Number 6, he issued silver and copper coins. Silver coins were called takas and copper coins were called jitas. Their coins remained popular throughout the Delhi Sultanate. Number 7, Iltutmish shifted the capital from Lahore to Delhi, and this was to be giving of the glorious period of Delhi. Besides being an efficient ruler, Iltutmish was a great builder and supporter of art. He completed unfinished Qutub Minar. He built a mosque at Badon. He built tomb made of red stone for himself in Delhi. He died in 1236 CE. He appointed his daughter Razia as his successor because he did not find any of his sons capable of ruling the Sultanate. The nobles did not like to be ruled by a woman. They placed Rukunuddin Firoz Shah, son of Iltutmish, to the throne. Rukunuddin lacked the qualities of a king, so Razia became the ruler. The people of Delhi supported her. She is popularly known as Razia Sultan. So students, these paragraphs are enough for today's study. Half of the paragraph we will do in the next video. So watch the video carefully and answer the objective questions which is given in the book. Till the next video, goodbye.